Alright, so this was from Chapter 1, Section 5, our number 7, or something similar. And since I can't plug in -1 because it would make the denominator 0, I have to factor the top. So we have to recall how to factor trinomials. Lots of different ways to factor trinomials. I'm a fan of it's called the magic method. It's what I called it 20 years ago when I had a student show me. But I'm going to factor it real quick. So I'll put 2x in the front of each box. Again, this is wrong. I'm going to look at the product of my first and last term, which is -6. And my goal is to get a -1 for that value. So looks like if I did a 2 and a 3, and my 3 was negative, if I add those together, I get -1. So I'll put +2 and then -3. Again, this is not equivalent to the 2x squared minus 1x minus 3 yet. Since I added that extra 2 in the beginning, I should have the opportunity to factor something out, and it looks like I can factor out a 2 in that first binomial. And when I do that, since I added an extra 2 initially, now I get rid of it. So that top piece is factored as x plus 1 and 2x minus 3. So now we can see that these terms cancel out, which means I have a hole in my graph. And there's nothing scary about a -1 now, because when I plug this in, I get 2 times -1 minus 3 is -5. And that would be where as I get closer and closer to -1, my y values get closer and closer to -5. The other problem that I said that I would start would be that number 10. So you have the limit as delta t goes to 0 of this big old expression up top, t plus delta t squared minus 9 times t plus delta t plus 8, minus t squared minus 9t plus 8. And all of this is over our delta t. So when you're doing something like this is setting us up for what a derivative is. In the beginning of chapter 2, we just have to expand all this out, right? So if I expand this out, like that first piece, I get t squared plus 2t times delta t plus delta t squared minus 9t minus 9 delta t plus 8. And then I still have this minus t squared minus 9t plus 8. If we do our math correct, everything in this thing, still all over delta t, sorry. Everything that's in this parenthesis should cancel out. So my t squared and t squared, my minus 9t and my minus -9t, and then my plus 8 and my minus plus 8 will cancel out. So the only thing that I'm left with is 2t delta t plus delta t squared minus 9 delta t all over delta t. So again, we're taking the limit as delta t goes to 0. Well, I still can't put 0 down at the bottom because I get undefined. But we could see that I could factor out a delta t up top. And when I do that, I would get a 2t plus delta t minus 9 over delta t. again, as delta t goes to 0. Well, now I cancel out, and I can plug in delta t equals 0 for this expression, right? Because I don't get anything that's undefined. So we should end up with, if I plug in delta t equals 0, that's the only place I have a delta t, 2t plus 9. Minus 9, sorry. Minus 9. So that's most of the ideas in section 5.